Want to speak real Hebrew from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at HebrewPod101.com.
Hebrew has only one alphabet of 22 letters, so it's super easy. Once you know these, a few variations and a simple vowel system, you will be ready to read one of the most ancient languages in the world. Let's start with the first letter, Aleph. What sound does Aleph make? In Hebrew, the name of each letter starts with the sound you use to pronounce it, which means the sound of Aleph is A. It is handwritten like this. Now, in Hebrew, there are always two ways to write a letter: the written way, which is used in everyday handwriting, and the print way, which you will see in books and newspapers, on signs, and so forth. This is the written way. The print version looks like this. The second character is bet. The sound of bet is B, and it looks like this. Pay attention to the dot. It has to be in the middle. The print version is like this. If you leave out the dot, bet becomes vet. The sound of vet is V, but we don't count vet as a separate letter in the alphabet. Before we move on to the next lesson, I want to introduce the Hebrew vowel system. Among 22 Hebrew letters, there are 5 vowels, one of which we learned in this lesson. But beside those 5, there is another vowel system called Niqqud. Niqqud are a series of dots or points that are used to indicate vowel sounds connected to consonants. Once you have more experience reading Hebrew, you may not see these symbols so often in native texts. But if you can master them when you start learning Hebrew, it will make learning Hebrew much faster and easier. The Niqqud take the form of dots, lines, and combinations of the two, and are written in, under, on top, or beside consonant letters. Sound complicated? Don't worry, we'll take it slowly, and by the end of this series, they will seem easy. The third letter of the alphabet is Gimel. The sound of Gimel is G. Let's first see how to write it by hand. Gimel in handwriting, and in print it looks like this. Gimel. They look quite different, don't they? You can adjust the sound of the letter Gimel by writing a comma right here. Now it is read J, as in the name George. First the Gimel, and then the comma on the upper left side. And in print it looks like this. Now it's time to introduce to you the first Niqqud. Remember, Niqqud are small points and lines that are placed in, under, on top, or beside consonants. The first one has the sound A, just like Aleph. This is kamatz, and it looks like this. And it's always written right under the consonant letter. So now let's move to the fourth letter, Daled, with the sound of D. Daled. That's it, just one curve for the handwriting. And Daled in print looks like this. Daled. The fifth Hebrew letter is Hey. Hey sound is Ha, but it can also sound like A. You will see how it changes in a second. Let's first write it in handwriting. Hey. The print version is very similar. Hey. Make sure to keep hey curved while handwriting, but use sharp angles in print. We need to use a new Niqqud symbol, patach. Just like kamatz from last lesson, patach has the sound of A. The sixth letter is Vav. The sound of Vav is V or O or U, and it's written like this. That's it. Vav has only one stroke from top to the bottom. The print version is the same for Vav, with only a small difference. Now we move on to the next Niqqud symbol, chirik, with the sound I, like in si. It's just one dot under the letter, I. The next Niqqud for this lesson is shuruk, with the sound U. This is how you make Vav sound like U. Cholam maleh, with the sound of O. This is how you make Vav sound like O. So let's move on with the seventh letter Zain. The sound is Z. Let's write it in handwriting first. If you write Zain with a comma on the left side, it will sound like J, as in the word journal or collage. First you write Zain and then add the comma on the upper left side. In print, now we move on to the eighth letter, Chet. This has the sound of Ch, and it is written like this. For the handwriting, keep the corners round. And in print, Chet. The ninth letter of the alphabet is Tet. It has the sound of T. Let's write it. The handwriting of Tet is... This letter is a little unusual, in that you need to start from the bottom up. And in print, Tet. If you round the corners of the print version, it will be just like the handwriting one. Now, let's move on to the 10th letter, Yod, which has a Y sound. It is probably the simplest letter. Yod, just like a little comma on the upper right side of the frame. And in print version, Yod. Before finishing up, let's take a look at another Niqqud, Shva. Shva has no sound. It is a silent vowel. It just keeps the original sound of the consonant. Now let's move on to the 11th letter, Kaf. The sound of Kaf is K. Let's write it. Kaf. Just half a circle to the right, starting from the upper left side and going down. The print is the same but with sharp corners. Kaf. Kaf actually is only pronounced like K when it has a dot inside. Just like Bet only has the B sound when it has this dot. Without the dot, it sounds like Ch. Chaf. Be careful though. The letter Chaf takes a different shape when it is written at the end of the word. It looks like this. Chaf sofit. The print is quite similar. Chaf sofit. Lamed with the sound of L. And the letter Mem with an M sound. So let's start writing. Lamed looks different in hand and print writing. So pay attention and remember to pronounce the letter while writing. Lamed. Lamed. In print, it looks like this. Mem. And it has an M sound. In handwriting, Mem looks like this. Mem. And in print, Mem. Mem changes when at the end of the word, just like in the previous lesson, Chaf. It looks like this. Mem sofit. And in print, Mem sofit. The 14th letter in the Hebrew alphabet is Nun. It has a N sound. This is how you write it. That's it. The print is the same with a sharper corner. Also, Nun takes a different form when it appears at the end of the word. The print is the same with a little side angle. Pay attention to make the final nun, or nun sofit, longer than the frame. Samech, which has a s sound. It looks like a circle. In print, it's a bit different. So let's go straight to the 16th letter Ein with the sound of A. And this is how you write it. And in print version, Pay with the sound of P. Let's write it down. Pay in handwriting is written from the outside to the inside, and in print from the inside to the outside. Pay attention to the dot. It makes the sound P. Without the dot, it becomes Fei with the sound F. Even though it's a different sound, we don't count Fei as a separate letter of the Aleph Bet. Pei also looks different at the end of the word. It is called Pei Sofit and looks like this. You start it like Lamed and end with a curve facing down. And in print, please keep the stroke longer than the frame. The letter Tzadik has the sound of Ts and looks like this. It looks like the number 3, doesn't it? And in print, it looks different. Start from the top and add the little stroke last. Tzadik also looks different when written at the end of the word, and it looks like this. Tzadik Sofit. In print, Tzadik Sofit looks like this. Tzadik changes its sound when written with an apostrophe on top. It has the sound of ch, like in church. And in print, the 19th Hebrew letter is Kuf, with the sound of K. So let's write Kuf in the handwriting style first. Almost the same. The next letter is number 20. It's Reish, with the sound of R. Reish looks like this. The pronunciation of the Hebrew Reish is similar to the French R sound. Try to make the sound from the throat, rolling the R as if you are gargling water. In print, the next Niqqud, called Cholam Chaser. It looks like this and has the sound of O. We already learned O sound in Cholam Maleh, remember? However, Cholam Chaser is only the dot on the upper left side of the letter and indicates an O sound. The next letter is Shin, with the sound of sh, and it looks like this. Shin is curved from out to in, and it looks like the English letter E, doesn't it? In print, it looks different though. Shin. Shin is pronounced sh when the dot is on the upper right side. If the dot in Shin is on the upper left side, it is called sin, with the sound of s. Remember, like all Niqqud, these dots are usually not written. It's like the dot of bet, kaf, or pei. And in print, Shin and Sin are considered the same letter in the Hebrew alphabet. You only have to remember 2 of its sounds. It's time to learn the last Niqqud used in modern Hebrew. Number 10 is kubutz, with the sound of U. and it looks like this. We already had shuruk, and this is another U sound in the Hebrew vowel system. Are you ready for the last letter? Let's start. בואו נתחיל. The next letter is taf. Taf is written like this. And in print, taf. Do you remember the Niqqud shva, the one that has no sound and is called the silent vowel? That's the idea behind the next 3 Niqqud as well. These are called reduced Niqqud. In 2 out of 3 cases, they make the sound of the Niqqud that they are based on shorter. So let's start with number 1, reduced segol. Just add shva to the segol. The second one is reduced patach. Add shva to the patach, and it reduces the sound a. The third one is reduced kamatz. Reduced kamatz is very rare, so you will hardly ever see it. Sometimes it is read as the sound o, and not a, like the regular kamatz. That's it. You have finished the full Niqqud system, and you are now ready to read any Hebrew text, including the ancient Hebrew Bible, written thousands of years ago.